Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's DJ Sketch, and welcome to yet another review of another Ubisoft game. This is one I just finished maybe about a week or two ago, but I've been playing through some more stuff and wanted to go ahead and just get this review done while I have it in my workflow. It's the other Ubisoft game that came out this year, besides the Division 2. Yes, I'm talking about Far Cry New Dawn. And just to get you up to speed on this one real quick, it takes place just after the events of the Far Cry 5. In the timeline, it's about, I guess, like 17 years, I believe. Something like that. It's a little over a decade, but not more than 2 decades. Somewhere in there. Spoilers, in Far Cry 5, a nuke goes off, everything goes to shit, everything gets eradicated. Sorry if you haven't played it yet, but if you're already looking at a review for this, you probably just want to skip past that. Because if you play Far Cry 5, it's basically more of the same. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing by any means. Honestly, Far Cry 5, for the most part, was okay. It's not my favorite Far Cry, but for what it is, it's good enough. And also, I got more than enough bang for the buck out of that, if you will. And this one released as a budget title. I know this is like a few months old now, so it came out at $39.95 or $99, whichever. And I imagine by now it's probably in the $29, possibly even $20 range. So for that price, if you just want to save time, I totally recommend it. Honestly, it's worth it for that much. Even at the $40 like budget price, quote fingers, that ain't bad. Basically, what you get with this, you have you go back to Hope County. That's where Far Cry 5 took place. We have a, once again, nameless character. Now we're just the deputy, because you had the sheriff in the last one, or something like that, lieutenant. I barely remember. It's been a while since I played Far Cry 5, but I remember the gist. And we have our new nameless, also non-speaking protagonist once again, and now we're up against a set of twins. I want to say their names are actually the names aren't important. The acting, except for a couple of the characters that do make a return from the original, you will see some original faces or some familiar faces if you play Far Cry 5. So that much you can rest assured of. Not everybody got wiped out in the blast, but the Mickey and Lou are our two villains in this installment of Far Cry, and they're not terrible. They're not terrible. I mean, I definitely think it might be a slight cut above the villain in Far Cry 4, even though that one I've still yet to finish. But still, like, as far as Far Cry villains go, they're not touching Voss. Honestly, still nothing throughout the Far Cry series, including the older ones, has yet to touch Voss. Gameplay-wise, we're getting, again, more of the same. If you enjoyed that kind of snappy arena shooter action from the previous Far Cry games, I guess 4-3 forward roughly, then again, you get more of the same. You get wingsuits, you're gonna hit some zip lines, you're gonna rappel up and down some ropes and all that kind of shit. So again, if you're familiar with that, go for it, man. I mean, honestly, this is one, it's not bad. Again, I won't say it's bad, but there are parts of it that are meh. It kind of does like damper the experience just a little bit. I'm mainly pointing out the part with Joseph Seed having to go on the little spirit quest with the lanterns. Honestly, pay close attention to where those lanterns are at, as that's where you're going to want to stand when you want to put that little puzzle together. I don't want to spoil too much of that for you, even though I pretty much already gave away the main hint. But there's some parts in there that are it's filler. Yeah, I mean it's totally filler, but and only the way that a Far Cry game could do. And aside from that, you're gonna have your still typical missions, and also this one you have to upgrade your base in order to progress in the game. So you're pretty much gonna be farming ethanol a lot, and you're gonna be turning over control points to farm more ethanol, probably a lot if you want to go through it quickly. Or, as far as I can tell, this is the first of the Far Cry series to do this. If you just want to bypass, or at least you want to get all the weapons and get all the cool shit right away, you can do that with Far Cry credits, which is one of the things I didn't know about until halfway through the game. They start just giving them to you, and I was like, oh, you can buy stuff with these. But I guess that's the casuals way out if you want to do that. No offense to casuals. If that's what you want to do, go for it. I don't give a shit. But if you want to play through it and do it like everybody else does that has a want to play a video game in its entirety, you can do that too. You have 4 levels of weaponry to go through. This time you can't create your own weapons, which is a little bit of a step backwards for, I guess, a Far Cry game. But this one, I guess for what it is, it follows kind of the same weapon model as Blood Dragon, but I think even in that you were able to modify your weapons a little bit. This one, there's no modification. What you get is what you get, and there are 4 tiers of them, and I believe that also might include a elite tier. I don't know, I never went that far because you didn't have to, and I didn't pay any real world money besides buying the initial game when it came out back in January. So as far as that's concerned, the game has some cool moments. There's gonna be some parts gonna make you laugh. Some performances, as far as the actors, are better than others. The gameplay, extremely familiar. It's everything you've been doing in a Far Cry game for whenever Far Cry, really, with all the zip lines and everything else. I guess really Far Cry 3, I guess 2 that might have had parts in there too. One thing is there are no radio towers with this one, which is something I was a little bit bummed those aren't in there, but at the same time there's enough there to keep you going through if you want to speed through it, or if you just want to buy your way through it, you can do it probably under 10 hours. But if you want to go ahead and do everything, going through all the bunkers, finding all the perk points, getting all the control points, farming the ethanol again, of course, and then doing those again, then you're looking at maybe closer to 25-35 hours start to finish, and you'll do just about everything. There's also some co-op in there, so if you want to jump in and play with a bud, you can totally do that too, much like Far Cry 5 and 4. So for what it is, I mean, you can tell it's definitely a cash grab on Ubisoft's part, and I mean that adds some stuff to the Far Cry story and the whole county saga, if you will. There's going to be another one of these. I kind of hope they'll just go ahead and just like say whatever resource they have and put that into Far Cry 6 if there's going to be one. But as far as this, I'm a little bit torn. I mean, again, it's not Anthem bad. I know I keep bagging on that game, and also I still support that game, but it's not Anthem bad, and it's not. I guess even Fallout 76 is kind of getting its tread a little bit more now these days, but it's not. It's not bad. But is it like a groundbreaking, like new experience? Fuck no, absolutely not. It's going to be more of the same thing you're familiar with, and again, this is a very, very real precursor. If you weren't about Far Cry 5 or 4 for that matter, then this probably ain't gonna float your boat. But if you enjoy pretty much all the Far Cry games to this point, go for it, especially for the price it's probably going for now. I imagine you probably get this game for probably like possibly even $10 if you go to the right spot. I'm sure there's like a sale, or I imagine digital copies are probably like super cheap for this by now. But yeah, man, if you got $20 you want to have a little Far Cry experience, maybe take you the weekend, yeah, go for it. It's honestly not that bad. If I had to slap a number on it, shit, give it a 7 out of 10. It's not the most awesome thing in the world, but there's parts of it that are awesome. There's parts that are cool. Parts of it that fucking drag a while too, but that's video games these days. And it's worth checking out. It's worth it, I'd say. And yeah, that's gonna do it. I'll see you guys on the next one.